Hey guys, I'm Brian.
And I'm Terry, and welcome to the Forest to Farm project.
Today's plumbing day at Terry's old house on this kitchen remodel and expansion. We're going to be installing the water box for the washer as well as the ice maker box for the refrigerator.
We're going to do everything in the walls in here. Getting over to the crawl space and up in the attic we're not going to do because it's a rainy mess outside and we really don't want to get muddy and we don't want to play in the rain. We don't have to.
So. And we don't want to play on the insulation today. So
yeah, so we'll get everything in this wall and see what we can get with it.
Yeah. Let's get started.
Today we're installing this universal outlet box. It's got two valves, one for the hot and one for the cold for the washer, and the drain line hooks in here, mounts on a stud. You want to mount it about 36 inches off the floor. When water runs through pipes and then when the valve cuts off in your washer, it can have a hammering effect and you'll hear that clunk in your pipes. This is a little cylinder that absorbs some of it, like a shock absorber on a car, absorbing bumps. That absorbs the bump in the water line. So it helps reduce the shock noise when water hits. And this is a drain line side. This is an assembly, but these pieces all come apart. You take these covers off. And as you saw, it came with that on the supply lines on the left, drains on the right. We want the opposite, so you can easily interchange them either direction. When you mount this on the studs, you take this steel plate, it's got holes for screws. It's got a little tab that grabs this spot right here and you slide into these grooves. There's a metal tab back here. This metal tab is for when you use steel studs, and we don't have steel studs, we have wood studs. Slide this in the groove and it's a little bit snug. Get it on there going. Once you get it going, now we'll install the water box in the same way. Got to get that thing lined up. Once you get it started, it goes just fine. When you hear it click, click, it's locked in. Now let's get our 36-inch mark here off the floor. And it's off the rough floor, but I think it could be 36 either way. It wouldn't be a big deal. Measure up 36 inches is right there. That's to the bottom of my box. So the bottom of my box, 36 inches. Right on the little arrow there. Don't really matter, don't have to be exact. All right. They supply you with this little bracket here and it slides through this top little area and you got to get it all lined up. It's pretty tight fit. And that kind of just stiffens this thing up. And you got to line them holes up so you can get a screw through it. I don't even think we need a screw in that. It's just...
No, by the time you put screws through the side of the boxes.
Yeah, it's there. All right. So... I got a few more places for screws here. I'm going to put them in it. I decided to switch over to a regular drill here because that impact driver against plastic might not be the best combination in the world. That way I can snug it up without crushing it. So I'm going to double check and make sure this cover still fits on here. Beautifully. This is a trim cover after the sheetrock's in. So I'm going to keep this off of here for now. And they provide you with these stickers that peel off of here and cover it. But we're not going to do that right now. We still got to get our draining lines in here. All right. We have to install a Pea Trap on this system. The drain will come out of the washer down through a pipe here. The Pea Trap goes here. We go through the stud. On the other side, we put what is called a
Sanitary tee
right here. And this Pea Trap needs to be somewhere between 18 inches from this box. So between here, and I mean, this is just a number that we have come up with through observing construction sites. We are not professional plumbers, so if you need professional advice, don't talk to us. What we're doing here is going to work. We have looked at many a house for many years and been planning this, but we're not professional plumbers, so we're not going to lie to you. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. It's going to work. So anyway, generally about 18 to 21 inches. So this Pea Trap's going to go down here, and if you look at this Pea Trap, there is, if you'll notice, it's straight down here, and it slopes into this upper part. It slopes into it over there. It doesn't go this way. The way I've seen them always go is like that. So straight line will come out of this, drain will come out of this box, straight down to this connection here. It'll go through the Pea Trap, and you cannot put these side by side. If you put these two side by side, then this P becomes actually an S. You see how that forms an S? And it could potentially, when the water's flowing, because this is so tight right here, it could suck the water out of this Pea Trap down the drain and then leave it open. And if that goes down the drain, then your sewer water or sewer gases can come back up that pipe, flow through here, and get potentially into your house. A Pea Trap in any system under your sink, wherever, is designed to hold water here, and as it drains, once it drains off whatever water comes down this pipe, a certain amount of it stays in here at all times and blocks any airflow from coming into your house. So you got to get that Pea Trap set up right. If you don't know how to do it, find out how to do it or get somebody to do it for you. So anyway, this needs to be roughly 4 inches. It could be way far away if you wanted, but you're not going to go too far because you got to go a vent out of the roof on one side. This goes to your drain lines under your house and out to the sewer system. You need 4 inches minimum between them. We're going to go right here. It's going to go behind this cross brace in the wall, come out the other side, probably in the middle of this, just because it'll be easier to cut our drain line into the center here. So right now, we're going to have to mount this right here. So we're going to install this Pea Trap, and we're going to glue the pipe into this box. We're going to glue the pipe into here, and we got to glue these pipes together. Now, you want to make sure that this is running in a straight line out that wall, so when we try to hook the other pipe to it, it's not pointing out this way or over that way. And since it's flexible and will move back and forth, you want to make sure I'm in a straight line. Fortunately, these pipes come with marks on them, so you can see, am I at a 45? Am I straight? 45 the other way? 90? So you can glue it and look right at it as you're gluing it and get that thing lined up before the glue dries, hopefully. And you can say, yes, I'm in a straight line. Everything's going to fall in place and work. And we need it in a straight line to shoot it out that way and glue it. We're going to cut all these pieces and we're going to dry fit it with no glue on it. Make sure everything goes together because we're not experts. And when we know that everything's going to go together and fit, then we will take it back apart and glue it. Make sure we got this in line. Get this glued in there. Get everything pushed together. Hopefully it works. You got to get your pipe long enough not to the edge of the box, but to where the pipe's going to end up inside the box in this connector. Same thing here. You can see that lip. That pipe's going to push somewhere near that lip or up to it when you glue them together. So when you make your measurements, you don't measure to it. You got to measure how far is it going to go into it to get where you want to be. So up here, we're going to go from that little lip, 20, say 20 and a half is going to put us right down there. And when we're up in this pipe, that's going to still keep us within the 18 to 21 inch range. Now let's measure and see how. I'm going to hold it out here so you can see this. It would be back here, but I'm just going to hold it out here where you can see because of this cross brace. So we need to get a pipe from this connector out to this connector for our drain down and for our vent up. And it could be here all the way over to there, anywhere in between here. So we're just going to shoot for roughly the center. This pipe's going to be right against here, and what we're going to need, and again, I'm measuring this down by the floor just because it makes it easier to measure, but the actual position is going to be up higher. Okay, And I'm looking at that pipe, and I am going to be approximately, I could go 12 inches, and it's probably going to move that over a little bit. So 12 inches between here and there, and I should be good. We're going to go ahead and make this thing 13 inches. And we're going to go 20 and a half. All right, we're going to clean these edges up a little bit. I'll get all that boogers off of the edges. If you don't, it's not going to slide into the other pipe very well. We'll stick this pipe in here where it goes. Goes up in that box. The Pea Trap goes on here. Nothing's getting glued yet. We're just sticking it together, make sure everything's going to fit. And we've got to drill a hole over it. So, this cross brace is a booger. There's a plug in here that you have to knock out, but it's in there now to cap it off. So if you had this hooked to the sewer line, no gases could get in the house until you get water in the line, in the system. So I'm going to mark this because I can't see. I want to make sure that I'm getting all the way inside of these pipes as far as I should. Sometimes they'll get hung up. And again, I'm not an expert. Yeah, that looks good. We're up in there enough to glue it. Get it back up there. There we go. I could feel that one bottom out that time. Now I'll get this one up in here again. I had it pencil marked there, and it's good. So now we need to figure out where do we need to drill this hole so that we can take this, put it together. And I can see in there, and that's all the way in. And we got to get this run across over to there. Again, that center line mark that's on here comes in real handy for measuring to see where the center of this pipe is, and that's where the center of our hole needs to be. And it looks like it's 16 inches.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that worked out pretty good. 16 inches off of the bottom plate. Now, 16 inches off the bottom plate comes to about right there. We need to be about half of this stud, which should be around 1 3/4 inches. So that's not a really pretty line, but it gets the job done. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Now, if we got our measurements right, this should go in here and line up. Ah, perfect fit. Good deal. I guess we can put some glue on it. All right, so we did the dry fit. Everything's fitting together. We made some little marks to make sure we were completely in that pipe. Probably not something you have to do, but something I like to do. I want to make sure it's all together properly. We're going to put a purple primer cleaner on each piece of pipe. Then you put your, this is medium clear PVC cement, and you put the cleaner on first, and it'll make a purple stain on there. Then you put your glue on, push it together. The inspector wants to see that purple primer. It's something they've come up with, and they've decided it has to be there. I would make sure that it gets past where the joint is, like where my pencil mark is. If you don't, and the inspector looked at it, he might not see purple. He might say, you didn't put cleaner on there, take it apart. Well, if you did and you had to take it apart to prove it, then he'd be like, oh, well, sorry, but he can't see it, so what's he going to do? Hopefully he wouldn't make you do that, but he could, potentially. So let's take it back apart and glue it together. This piece could be glued and not really matter because it doesn't matter what direction it's pointing. So I'll go ahead and glue that on there. Let me get this loose too. This is my least favorite job because I hate smell of plum glue. We've got the drain box installed, the drain line coming down to the Pea Trap, coming out of the Pea Trap over to the sanitary tee. Now we need to get a pipe going down to a 90 to run across and into the crawl space to tie into the old plumbing pipes down there. We're also going to have to come out of the top of this sanitary tee and go straight up through the top plate there into the attic area. And this is actually at the edge of the house. So we're going to run it back into the house some probably 5-6 feet and then go up through the roof. And we'll show you how we put that together in probably another video. We won't get this done today. So let's get the distance over here. We need to get a hole straight down from this so our pipe can come in there nice and neatly and straight. First I want to make sure this is where it goes, and that's about right there. And that puts this pipe at 8 inches. So we're 8 inches off of this stud to the center of that pipe. Again, I can use these marks on this pipe to determine where center is, which makes it really easy for me. Again, let me double check it. Yep, 8 inches. So come off of the stud, 8 inches right there. We need to be somewhere right in there. We'll come out of the sanitary drain down to here, to the bottom plate. We got to get through this bottom plate and below the floor level. I'm just going to mark where this thing is going to sit roughly. Plumber would probably just pop a hole and go with it because he's very familiar. I'm just trying to make sure I get my ducks in a row. That's going to have to set down, get us below this floor somewhere. Well, this is a prime example of checking to make sure you have everything you need to get the job done. There's so many little details when you start getting into this kind of stuff or electrical that there's always something you need. We need a 3-inch bit to make a hole big enough for this to drop down into this bottom plate. This pipe's got to be sticking out underneath the level of these joists. So it's going to be like right down there somewhere. We got to cut a hole in here and chisel some of this out, drill down in there, probably sawzall it off. Problem is, we don't have our 3-inch bit. We have some smaller ones, but I don't want to spend all the day chiseling and beating the fool out of that. So we're going to wait and get that. We can't get under the house anyway, so the only other thing we were going to be able to do is this right here. We're just going to have to wait. We'll do that in the next video. The other thing we need to do yet is get this
ice maker box.
Yes, ice maker box. Thanks, little guy.
Sure thing. We take that cover.
As soon as I get it off of here.
Gimme.
There you go.
Thank you.
And we're going to mount this thing at 12 inches off the floor because that's what we want to do. I don't think there's a set rule. Just get it up high enough that the trim's not too close to the molding on the floor. 12 inches off of what that plywood would be. If you don't have any plywood, then you need to be 12.5 if you want to be that number. So we're just going to go there at 12.5 for the sake of being at 12.5. Screw this thing to the wall. Now I have this brace camouflage here. With just being one box, it doesn't have the same setup that the other did. So we're going to run this brace in here and run it out to this side and screw that into the studs as well, and that should give it a little more rigidity. Well, since we don't have that 3-inch bit, looks like that's all the plumbing we're going to get done today.
It happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully next video we'll be running supply lines out here and drain line back out and vent pipe out the roof, so you get to go in the crawl space in the attic with us. Lots of fun.
Fun stuff. Dusty, moldy, lots of fun.
Always.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.
See ya.